history of Mosman? Well, 121 years ago, a man by the name of Archibald Mosman came across Sydney Harbour and into Mosman Bay to start, of all things, a whaling station. So he started one whaling station and two other people came across, and there were three whaling stations, but as a business it never really worked out, thankfully. But people had then come across to work at the whaling station, and then once they got here, they realised this is where they wanted to live. It's paradise over this side of the harbour. So they moved in, land started being developed, mainly small workers' cottages coming up out of Mosman Bay, and at 20 or 30 years later they realised they really needed to put a road across the top of the ridgeline, something that connected up to, say, Crow's Nest, North Sydney area. So they built Military Road, which was named because it enabled people to, or the soldiers, the army and subsequently the Navy, to come down and establish grounds at Middlehead to protect Australia through the First World War. So it's a brief history of Mosman, but from those early days, it just slowly started to develop, and they formed a local council which put in planning controls and thankfully made sure that there was plenty of roads and that they were wide roads for the car traffics that we have today, but also big blocks of land where magnificent homes were built, and a series of villages started to develop around Mosman, say from down at Spit Bridge, the Spit area, Chinaman's Beach beside that, and up through Beauty Point, which by its name is just glorious views of Middle Harbour, and then around through to Balmoral Beach. Further to the south, you've got Middlehead around to Taronga Zoo, and into Sirius Cove, Mosman Bay, around to Cremorne Point. So in all these areas we have just magnificent views of the harbour, which have been filtered by trees, beautiful greenery, and we've made sure that we've kept a high degree of open space. We keep the beaches and the bushland in pristine condition, make sure the buildings are very low rise, and over the years maintained the heritage of much of the built environment to what we have today, which is just a wonderful village atmosphere across the whole suburb. Mosman Council is unique in that it is one council for one suburb. Everywhere else in New South Wales and most likely across Australia there's multiple suburbs governed by any one council area, but in Mosman it's Mosman Council, and we only look after the suburb of Mosman, 30,000 people. So we can focus on just our group of villages and our particular suburb. It means that the council can give a lot of attention and provide a lot of detail in the works that we do for maintaining a uniform look and feel across the suburb. So and that's been all about maintaining the village, maintaining the low rise buildings, predominantly larger blocks of land, and making sure that we have plenty of open space, plenty of distance between each building, so that you can put trees up between buildings, trees down the footpath across the verge. It's a wonderful leafy suburb that's enjoyed by many, I can assure you. Mosman has a very diverse population from cradle till grave. Many generations of families stay in Mosman over the period, but there are many ovals, parks, playing fields. There's lots of open space in Mosman. I suppose we could always do with more, but there's pocket parks in most streets, and we've maintained that green belt around the water's edge, of which there's lots of parklands, walking tracks, bushland, beaches. Everything's here in Mosman. I love living in Mosman for many reasons, primarily because of the absolutely gorgeous natural environment that we have. We're surrounded by water. The topography of the land is a ridgeline falling away to the harbours in 3 different directions. So the views are just spectacular from every street. So when I first moved to Mosman, that was 40 years ago now, I was struck as a child by the wonderful views, the glorious beaches, the bushland, and then also the built environment is very much like a village. We have several villages. The shopping village is second to none in Sydney as a strip shopping mile, the golden mile of retail. Some people like to call it high-end products, and it's just wherever you are in Mosman, you feel relaxed and happy. And one of the other really strong attraction of Mosman is that we are 30,000 people. It's a very small number of people for an area looked after by one council, and it seems that everybody knows everybody. So there's a wonderful sense of community across the whole suburb. Generally people get on really well. Everybody's motivated by making Mosman even better where we can. We feel blessed as a community to live here, so we have an enormous amount of respect for both the natural and built environments.